Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another video. I just wanted to deal with this line from Baylan in the Ahsoka show that's kind of getting a lot of people really excited. There's articles and everything about, the Bokken Jedi. I think it's Bokken, it could be Bokken, whatever. You guys know what I'm talking about. Anyways, and basically this is what this is about. So I'll start with my standing point in this video, which is that Bokken Jedi is just another label for the sake of a label. It's not necessary to label certain Jedi, certain things. It's just... And the labels are getting so miscombobulated, and people are debating what a Dark Jedi is, and Fallen Jedi, and this and that, and now it's Bokken Jedi. And so basically what happens is Shin asks her master Baylan if he knows Ezra Bridger from back in the Jedi heyday. And he notes Bridger is too young because he comes from a breed of Bokken Jedi trained in the wild after the temple fell. Okay, but this implies that every Jedi trained at the temple while it was in the Jedi's possession, and only after the temple fell were they trained in the wild. So that's basically saying, because he's they're Bokken Jedi trained in the wild after the temple fell. So you're saying there was no Jedi trained anywhere other than the temple before that? To me, that's galaxy shrinking. I would think there'd be Jedi out there on missions and doing things that would potentially be training. It's just kind of a weird... the implication is everything was being done at the temple and there's just nothing else. It's one place, It's that to me shrinks the galaxy a little bit. So they were trained in the wild, and that's okay. So it's a weird label, because just because someone isn't trained at the temple doesn't mean they aren't being taught the same things about the Force, right? Like Luke was trained by two guys who were trained in the Jedi arts. So he's just a Jedi, and they were trained at the temple as well. His masters, Yoda and Obi-Wan. So he's just a Jedi. They didn't teach him other things that didn't pertain to the Jedi Order. Maybe if he was at the temple, he'd be lifting pretty square golden bricks instead of ugly stones with Yoda, but it's still essentially the same thing. So the Bokken label is just a label for the sake of a label to me. It's so people can make posters and lists of the Bokken Jedi, online and stuff. This is the Bokken Jedi, the guys that didn't train. It also implies a lesser than label, as Bokken were the sticks the samurais used to train as, like a substitute for an actual sword. And so the argument could be made that Baylan was calling these Jedi cheaper substitutes for actual Jedi. That's kind of rich, considering Baylan isn't even following the code he claims is superior. Right? So he's abandoned the Jedi code, but he, I guess, still views being taught at the temple and the code superior. And again, these lines of dialogue, they create so many questions and muddy the waters. The reality is this label just cheapens the Jedi continuation in the wild as if it's not real Jedi. So I think we should just stick to Baylan said it and it's his own personal thing, not make this into this new thing that, these are Bokken Jedi. I think Luke Skywalker would mop the floor with Baylan anyway. So if Lucasfilm had the brain to include Luke in the Ahsoka show instead of ignoring him, he would have mopped the floor with Baylan anyway, and he's a Bokken Jedi Bokken Jedi who was trained in the wild. You know what I mean? No, he's just a Jedi. He's just a Jedi. And then you take it one step further, you have Jedi like Rey, and they don't even need training, and are already winning duels and saving people from Dark Lords and everything out of nowhere. And again, if Bokken is inferior, then why could Rey with virtually no training be so powerful she could also mop the floor with Baylan too, as far as I'm concerned? Mop the floor with Baylan. So is she a Bokken Jedi? See where this gets kind of stupid? So we gotta just say that's his Baylan's own personal thing. But it's not really, though. He's saying it as if it's a real term. That's the problem. And then you got Luke's 180 turn back to no attachments from the original Jedi Order and forcing Grogu to choose, which is something a Temple of the Jedi would do, like a Temple Jedi. He would say you can't have attachments and have all these rules. So is he then a Bokken Jedi turned regular Jedi then? Because he's now under Disney Star Wars gone back to the code that we thought he was going to change. It's confusing. And his turning back this way leads to him being a bum on an island. So it certainly doesn't seem like Jedi Temple ways are necessarily superior, and certainly not superior enough for these alternative labels. Because at the end, he turned into a douche who tried to kill his nephew anyway. So the Jedi, the whole thing is dumb. So all that to say, Disney Lucasfilm has added a pile of new terms and lore, and most of which is either pointless or contradictory, and this Bokken term seems to be some of both. Sometimes it's better to keep things simple. This IP has gone off in so many directions the last 10 years, fans are becoming apathetic and disillusioned. The last thing they need are more silly lore additions that really don't offer any concrete answers and just kind of muddy the waters even more. And maybe that's the plan, right? Make everything gray, everything muddy, nothing really matters, and then you can just kind of, there's no rules, and you just write whatever you want, which is kind of what they're doing. So you guys let me know what you think of this Bokken Jedi. Does it even make any sense having these terms and then all this contradictory stuff that goes along with them? What are your thoughts on it? Do you want to see posters and lists of the Bokken Jedi? Like, Bokken Jedi versus Jedi Temple Jedi. Who would win? Death match. Like, you guys let me know in the comment section. Thanks for listening, guys. As usual, check out any of my other content. If you do like this content, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel. Thanks for listening, and have a good day.